Sounds good.
Because it technically means we played Danganronpa for 2 hours. And that's how long our sessions usually are.
2 hours?
Yeah, if not more.
No, well, yeah, they're usually a lot more, but, what I was wondering is, are you combining the Monster Hunter, or just, like, the Danganronpa into it?
Danganronpa.
Other Danganronpa. Oh, okay, I see. Okay. Well, it was pretty easy to swap back.
Yeah.
All things considered. I need to go to the restroom before we start.
Alright. Okay. Okay. Beep boo boo bop boo boo bop.
That's the sound of the police.
Whoop,
Sorry.
whoop.
Huh? That's weird.
Oh my.
This is the hallway I walked through to get to the gymnasium, but it's clearly different.
Oh, it's the 5th floor.
Oh, the one that didn't exist or whatever?
No, it's the last floor we investigated in the first game.
Oh, gotcha. Is this Monokuma's doing too? Is he trying to confuse us again?
I think it's an augmented reality.
I mean, I have no idea. I don't know what's happening. I don't know how he's doing it, but he keeps doing it over and over again. He's so persistent. I'm not gonna fall for his trap. There's no way this will make me back down.
Oh, bro, it's all glitchy. Am I the only one that notices this?
I don't know.
This hallway. There is a strange feeling to it, no? As if an invisible wall has been erected to limit our movement.
弱りましたね。
Is it just me? Sonia, it's not just you. There's something very, very wrong.
Oh my god, Happy's a happy monkey.
Yep.
Gorilla. It's not a monkey. Damn it.
Oh, I guess we can't go to the bio. No.
Guess not.
Can we go in the creepy classroom?
Guess not.
Where can we? Jeez, man. Come on.
Oh yeah, my favorite time unknown. All capitals. Oh, like 3 seconds. Is this a dojo? It's full of strange things that make me think there's no way we're inside a school. Perhaps it's a mistake to expect the inside of this building to make sense. Oh yeah, anime! That's my favorite manga. What's this? Is this a manga? The title is Manga for Morons, The History of Hope's Peak Academy by Monokuma. Why is a manga with such a suspicious looking title laying out in the open like this?
Boop, boop, boop.
Let's start with history first, class.
ね.
Reading manga is the 3rd best way to learn about history. Then what's the first, you ask? That depends on the person.
So just as I thought, Monokuma made this. It totally explains how suspicious it looks. We're just gonna ignore the fact that it literally said by Monokuma when he read the title. really want to just ignore it. There's no way I can do that. Fine, I'll look at it. Look at anything that might be a clue to getting out of here, no matter what it is. I picked up the manga off the floor and started flipping through the pages. It's an introduction to Hope Speak Academy's history, as narrated by the cutesy character on the cover. The story begins with an introduction to Hope Speak Academy. I mean, that's you.
Hope Speak Academy is a government-funded school privilege where only the most talented high school students can hope to attend. Built to raise hope in the nation's future, many of these alumni are key leaders of various industries. New students are chosen through a scouting process, and the ones who scout them are Hope Speak Academy's teachers, who serve as both educators and researchers of talent. Hope Speak Academy isn't just a school for talent, it is also a school for researching talent as well. However, for the past few years, Hope Academy has been suffering from a decline in funding. If this persists, the Academy believes they will not be able to progress with their research of talent. So they decided to implement a new system. The Reserve Department. Unlike the main department scouts for students, the Reserve Department utilizes a general entrance exam. Normal faculty was hired and placed in charge of looking after the Reserve Department. The expenses and exam fees for the Reserve Department are quite high compared to most schools. Nevertheless, Hope Peak Academy is an endless stream of applicants. Hope Peak Academy is now available to talentless commoners, people who only cared about the brand. With this, Hope Peak Academy managed to amass sizable funds and began further research of talent. To create Hope Peak Academy's earnest wish, a true genius should become mankind's hope. But just when they thought everything was going well, an unprecedented incident occurred. The incident triggered the tragedy, the biggest, most awful, most tragic history event in human history. That's right, it was the tragedy of Hope Peak Academy. Hope Peak Academy was crippled by this incident and was forced to shut down without accomplishing anything. The end.
Oh my gosh, that.
I think my brain has decayed into nothingness, and there's just a black hole where my head is now.
Dude,
I just wanted you to know.
Dude, that really started hurting.
I was like, at first I was like, wow, that's a funny idea, because it's a cutesy character. And then we got halfway through it, I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, Corey. That was 3/4 through it, I'm like, oh, I'm really sorry.
Oh, ow. I don't know why my jawline just started hurting.
I was like torn between two things. So it was like, man, his vocal cords must be hurting. And then on the other side, I'm like, I'm cringing into infinity. I'm like cringing so hard, I'm like, I'm actually...
It was a double-edged sword.
Just like constantly, inner screaming. Huh? The ending was so sudden, like a manga that suddenly canceled in the middle of its run. Plus these phrases mentioned at the end of this manga, the tragedy and the tragedy of Hope Peak Academy. These names are so melodramatic. There's no way these incidents really happened, right? This manga only mentions the names, so I don't really know the details, but... No, it'd just be a waste of time to wonder about things that don't make sense. More importantly, I learned something because of this the Reserve Department. That department was only built to collect money. I was one of those Reserve Corps students, right?
待てよ。
That's weird.
Oh, you're here again.
キラン
Ah, the thing that's weird is you, of course.
Huh?
ねえね
Why did you forget that you were a part of the Reserve Department? Future Foundation only took away your school life memories, right? But you should have known even before you entered that you had no talent, right? So, I think it's weird that you actually forgot something like that, too.
What do you want me to say?
え。ちなみに、
Based on my assumption,
Future Foundation must have wanted to hide the fact that you were one of those reserve course students.
Hiramega.
Or you willingly sealed those memories yourself.
Huh?
You wanted to be confident in yourself. So you wanted to forget everything that embarrassed you. You know, when humans experience trauma, sometimes they erase their memory of what happened. It happens pretty often. Not that I know anything about that, though.
Are you saying it's my fault I forgot? That's not it.
Mada,
Things
mada.
get inconvenient. You always get angry and try to brush it off. Well, that's expected of a reserve course student.
Damn it, what the heck? I felt that, Hadre. Felt
Yeah.
that. There are a bunch of wooden lockers here. Each of them has a traditional looking woodblock key sticking out of them. And I
Yeah.
guess they're just for show.
Man, I'm getting Vietnam flashbacks to the fraud
Yeah.
case.
Yeah. There's nothing in particular that looks like a clue.
That fraud case was the worst. Then again, I was also too stupid to figure out, like, what not to do.
I'm struggling to remember what you're talking about, actually.
How I got the bad end on the first try.
Oh, yeah. I don't know, I think everyone
Dumbass.
does. I'm
He
just
didn't.
Gary. He also figured out meat on bone.
Meat on
Stick
bone,
bone. Meat on bone, the on bone meat. It's that one. It was that one. The only one
Can we
open.
even go in here? I thought this is where we came out of, though.
No, I don't think so.
Oh, you're right.
No, actually, I think I'm wrong.
No,
Oh, yeah, I'm right. This is another manga laying on top of the desk. This one is Manga for Morons, The Tragedy of Hope's Peak Academy. Huh. Wasn't the Tragedy of Hope's Peak Academy mentioned in that other manga too? That's why Hope's Peak Academy went bankrupt, and it was a trigger for the biggest, most tragic, most awful event in human history. If I read this manga, will I be able to learn a little more about that incident? I took the manga from the desk and started flipping through the pages to see what I could learn about the event known as the Tragedy of Hope's Peak Academy. The story made heavy use of outdated, stylized drawings depicting characters solving mysteries. What's written here is...
Alright.
As the name suggests, the tragedy of Hope's Peak Academy occurred at Hope's Peak Academy. The key player in that event was a student named Izuru Kamukura. Izuru was a genius known as a symbol of hope. Hope's Peak Academy used all the resources to develop him. Supposedly, Izuru was a genius among geniuses and possessed various talents. Wielding superior talent for the hope of mankind, the Academy referred to Izuru as the ultimate hope. To protect such rare talent, the Academy completely concealed all evidence of Izuru's origins and identity. Because of that, most of the students at the Academy were completely unaware of Izuru's existence. But Izuru, who is known as a symbol of hope, was responsible for a horrible incident. 13 students of Hope's Peak Academy Student Council, among the Academy's best and brightest, were brutally murdered by Izuru. However, the incident did not end there. The Academy tried to protect Izuru's superior talent and conceal the incident as though it never happened. That's a no-no.
It's a no-no.
That is...
You did a no-no.
That is like protecting a student who's the son or daughter of your school's biggest trust. What do you call them?
Trust fund. You were
Yeah,
right.
like a trust. Yeah, like a trust fund.
Yeah.
There's another name for them. I don't remember what they're called.
I definitely don't know.
However, A certain student began working in secret to use that incident to their advantage. That student uncovered what the Academy did, and by making that knowledge public, it stoked the fires of Reserve Corps students who had long been dissatisfied with how they'd been treated. And the uprising began.
Gee, I wonder who that student was.
It's the guy on the front cover. his name was Dude Who Lit the Gun.
And that heralded Hope's Peak Academy's destruction. That is the entirety of the tragedy of Hope's Peak Academy. Eventually that incident would lead to that horrifying, devastating incident. The incident that would be known as the biggest, most awful, most tragic event in human history. We're excited. Danganronpa 0.
Oh, that's that little fan game you can play. Not fan game, visual novel. There's like a visual novel thingy extra in the original Danganronpa, I think.
Interesting.
With a heavy sigh, I close the manga. Am I supposed to believe this?
There's no reason why you shouldn't.
There's no way 13 people were killed at Hope's Peak Academy. Now that I think about it, I don't think that was the name of that. There is like a special visual novel in the first game, but maybe that's not the name of it. Maybe that's just a reference to Fate Zero.
Maybe?
I don't know.
What irony. For a genius known as the...
Irony.
For a genius known as the ultimate hope to cause such a gruesome incident. A talent like that is too regal for society. It's like trying to buy a juice with borrowed gold. You should be lucky that you're incompetent.
Dang it. It always has to lead up to something offensive. Seriously pisses me off.
That's my shtick.
But ultimate hope. Now I get to mention that before too. It looks like it means something completely different here. What Nagito said was the true meaning of hope. But for Izuru, hope simply means talent. More importantly, genius who possesses various talents. I wish they'd given me one of those talents so I didn't have to be in the reserve department. Oh, that's right, the reserve department. Here, it said that the Reserve Corps students in the reserve department began uprising. Then what about me? Was I a participant too? No, that's not possible. There's no way. I have no reason to do something like that. Anyway, I've learned about the tragedy of Hope's Peak Academy, but the biggest, most awful, most tragic event in human history is a far worse incident, right? What kind of incident was it?
I was gonna say, you mean that's not it?
And who's this other student that isn't in Zero? No, this is the one they're talking about now was the one that we found. They're explaining what happened in the first game. Remember when we came to the classroom and there was all those like dead like that
Yeah.
the blood was everywhere?
Yeah. That's
what
Izuru.
they're talking about.
Yeah.
And that's what triggered the biggest, most awful, most
Event in human history. Yeah.
Right. They said that in the first game.
Yeah.
But that's not it. That's not the actual event.
Okay.
And who's this other student that isn't Izuru?
Oh, gee, I wonder who that could be.
A certain student who secretly used the incident to their advantage. Who is that? This incident is really messed up. But all it's doing is raising more questions. The mysteries just keep piling up. Oh, wait. I think you just passed it. I think that classroom just opened up to your left.
So, no, it's a dojo.
No. Back behind you. And then to your right.
I just came from
Oh no,
there.
it did not. I lied. I thought that one right there, though. I guess. So it's probably the dead corpse of Junko.
No.
No, her in the freezer, remember?
Maybe in the freezer. Oh, you mean the biolab? Maybe.
Yeah, that's where her dead corpse was. Well, not really dead prince, but actually it's her sister or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, Mukuro.
Yeah. What the hell is with this room? It's freaking cold in here. I'm in a freezer or something. If I just stand still, I might end up freezing to death. I should hurry up and investigate so I can get out of here already.
Tarp.
Yay, tarp. There's another manga just laying around here. This time the title is Manga for Morons! The biggest, most awful, most tragic event in human history!
Finally.
I knew it. The next one would obviously be about this incident. Biggest, most awful, most tragic event in human history, huh? What was that incident really all about? It turned out to be something lame.
The students couldn't beat Fatalis.
Yes! I flipped through the pages of the manga and hoped that I was right. A story about creepily drawn characters who get involved in such horrifying incidents. An incident known as biggest, most awful, most tragic event in human history. Is this drawn so grotesquely because the incident itself is that grotesque? Anyway, the beginning of this creepy manga starts with this sentence. Do you want to do it? Should I do it?
Well, that's you still.
Oh, you're right, sorry. The tragedy of Hope's Peak Academy was simply the trigger.
At first, the uprising by the Reserve Corps students was triggered the tragedy of Big Academy.
Oh, wait. No, wait. I know what you should do the voice actually as.
Okay.
What was that dude from Remember the dude from Borderlands that was voiced by, Aaron?
Oh, guy. Okay. was initially hoped to be resolved quickly, but the situation continued to escalate to dangerous extremes.
Oh my god, it's perfect.
The movement started spreading all over the internet and fostered a thriving online community. This community was not limited to students, and people of various races and nations began joining in. But the movement was not confined to the internet and began spreading and eroding the real world. When the movement started, it was indistinguishable from any other demonstration inspired by social unrest. But as it spread across the world, certain abnormalities came to light. By then it was too late. The ends and the means had vanished, and wanton destruction became their only goal. The strong butchered the weak killed the weakest among them, and soon the weak formed factions to brutally murder the strong. As the violence and death continued to spread, the shock of their actions began to disappear, as if the era was regressing to more uncivilized times, when senseless death were the norm. The media was oversaturated with deaths to the point where people would watch them while enjoying a meal. Oh my lord. Oh my gosh, that would... So, the first game was like, it wasn't like a shock factor, it was the show. Like, it was Real Housewives of Hope's Peak Academy.
They're just watching some boring reality show. They're like, what's on the next channel, guys?
Yeah, it was like, it's like, Genocide Jack! Oh, what's Yasuhiro gonna say next? Probably something stupid, right? Yeah, F that guy. And everyone has their own favorite reality TV show, or TV person.
Oh my god.
By the time the world realized that what had become, it was too late to stop what had happened. A feeling of immense despair began spreading and eventually engulfed the world. Acts of terrorism and coups d'etats began occurring around the world. A war waged in the name of despair. A war fought not for principles, religion, or personal gain. Just war. Pure war. And because of that, there was no way to resolve it. How could a movement started by high school students progress to such a hopeless scenario? The only explanation is the existence of a certain organization devoted to a certain student who influenced Hope's Peak Academy. A group called Ultimate Despair. Instead of using Hope's Peak Academy's talents for the sake of mankind's hope, they used them for the sake of mankind's despair. Key members of society used their influence to brainwash the masses in order to spread despair. Tech-savvy computer programmers wrote software to spread despair. The powerful and influential created new values and morals to spread despair. And with this, they created the tragedy. The biggest, most awful, most tragic event in human history. As long as ultimate despair exists, the despair engulfing the world will never end. The tragedy will never end.
Congrats, dude, you made it.
I'm gonna call this Corey ruins his vocal cords on his birthday.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Dude, I thought this was so ahead of its time when I played
Oh yeah,
this.
this is crazy. Yeah.
I was like, I remember when they start telling you how the tragic event happens. I'm like, dude, it's like just like ISIS and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Or it's just like this, like, I don't know.
No, like totally. I totally get it.
It's just like this mentality that just like spreads, and it's like, what do you do about that?
And like nothing's
just...
shocking anymore. Like we hear murders all the time on the news, and we're just like, stuff happens.
Yeah, it just devolved into pure chaos. It was like, man, like this could totally happen, and like things have only gotten
It's
worse.
still happening.
Yeah, I know. Like, man, this game was so ahead of its time. It's crazy. Anyway, sorry. My heart was racing in my chest, but my body felt ice cold. It wasn't because I was freezing in this room. The biggest, most awful, most tragic event in human history. This is definitely all made up. I mean, if this is really true, then what's happening in the outside world? My family, my friends, the convenience store I frequent, the nearby bookstore, my favorite restaurant? What's happened to them?
Hey, are you seriously yelling at a manga? How crazy are you?
Who would enjoy reading something like this?
That would be me.
Are
Oh my. You don't like manga? A high school student who doesn't like manga is like an office lady who doesn't like to eat candy.
Enough! What is this messed up manga?
I thought you'd obviously know about such a horrible event that destroyed the world, but for you not to remember that, such despair. That's the Future Foundation's fault, though. Thanks to them stealing your school memories. The incident that happened during that period has been completely removed from your brains.
This incident really happened? And I actually forgot about it? There's no way that's possible.
How many times do I have to tell you? All the clues here are real. Please understand. I'm rooting for you. If you don't learn about the full extent of the outside world, you guys will suffer for it. I just want to help you guys so you can live well-adjusted lives in the outside world.
I see. So that's how it is. That's what he meant by what he said at the beginning.
Well, I'm asking if I can answer your best graduate. You're worried about what your outside world. We're telling us before make decisions. I see let's do perhaps I better stay here.
I am the worst sense of humor. So fucking dumb. It was the part that was like the it was just like it's the fucking just like random statement at the end of it. Oh god.
Give me button that up.
He's trying to make us feel despair toward the outside world, so we'll want to stay on this island. But there's no way I'm going to do what he wants. Despair like that simply can't exist. The outside world should be filled with hope. Just like now.
Now you're starting to think like me.
Perhaps. No, that's definitely it. Whether or not this incident really happened, what in the world is this ultimate despair group? They're devoted to a certain student who guided Hope's Peak Academy to its destruction. Are they connected to both the tragedy and the tragedy of Hope's Peak Academy?
Aren't they the same thing?
No, the tragedy of Hope's Peak Academy is Azuru killing everyone.
Okay.
Plus, that organization isn't just one person, but a group of people. But they're known as Ultimate Despair, they're high school students, right? Well, if they were actually able to do it, then I guess that's why they were called Ultimate. Then, are the killings we're involved in connected to them as well? It's no use, I'm gonna freeze to death. I'm at my limit, I need to get out of here. Shivering, I ran out of the freezing room. I'm not a cool enough voice actor to be like, ooh, I don't even know how to make the shivering sound.
No, don't even worry about it.
Phew, that was close. Froze to death. Where should I go next?
Go to the room that has the sketchy blood stuff. No? Okay.
Oh, your pet has a thing that happened. I don't know what. It just
It grew a level, probably.
No more Harambe! Don't let this happen!
Oh, what?
No Harambe! Is he going...
What?
Hara! Oh no, he's leaving us after he shit out an egg.
Bono coins, mail still in measuring flask.
I have many questions, dude. Mommy!
Let me just work this.
Mommy, can you explain why the gorilla shot out an egg?
Skip it right, not up. So this is what breaks us for Danganronpa 2.
It's too fucking late at night. Help me.
Oh my gosh. Okay then. Skip the button, that up.
That room looks nice. Welcoming.
Yeah, it's something I can't go in.
Can you just like hit that map button and see what's lit up? Maybe that'll...
Oh, right, yeah. Oh,
The room that I was talking about, the one next to the other room.
yeah, you're right. Hmm.
No, let's just ignore it. I'm just gonna pretend I didn't see him.
たくよ
When I went inside this room, that bastard bear was suddenly here. He keeps glancing at me. I wonder why. It's gonna be shitty either way.
ああ
So I'll let you handle it. There's no way I'm gonna deal with that idiot. I don't want to do that either. I'm reluctant.
Oh, sorry. I was trying to think if I could, like, leave.
Yeah, I got this.
Why, hello, Hajime. I hope you're doing pleasingly well.
ふんふん
Are you pleasingly well? You're pleasingly well, right?
What are you doing here?
いやいや
Well, there was another thing I needed to tell you on this floor. I got bored of drawing manga. Can you forgive me for telling you by word of mouth?
You should have done that from the beginning. I didn't want to read your manga in the first place.
A high school student doesn't like reading mangas like a sumo wrestler who doesn't like eating hot pots.
I'm really fed up with your babbling. Hurry up, what did you need to tell me?
ぷぷぷぷぷ
It's about that key piece of information that you've been waiting so long for.
なんと
Surprise! It's about ultimate despair.
Huh?
Even though the term ultimate despair refers to a group these days,
実
it was
は
originally the title for a high school girl who was the most powerful, evil, and feared person alive.
High school girl?
はい
Lady Junko Enoshima.
Junko Enoshima?
あのね
As the former ultimate despair, she created a despair brimming with charm and humor, and created the ultimate despairs.
ぷぷぷ
There was one really horrible person in that group.
ふざけんな
Hold on a sec. I don't know what the ultimate despairs are, but it's not that easy to form an organization. There's no way people would join some fucked up organization created by a high school girl.
They will if she has 6 personalities all voiced by one person.
I'd join, dude.
たくも
I'm in.
Humans who are obsessed with their philosophy have an uncanny power to attract others. It's a trait shared by many famous leaders throughout history, right? There's nothing strange about it.
あのね
That's not wrong, though.
That holds true for Lady Junko. With a charismatic ability to attract people, she even influenced those in the highest echelons of power.
ふぅ
Her connections were the main reason that incident became the tragedy in the first place.
So she even recruited people who would have been in a position to neutralize the threat?
あ
And what was their purpose?
は
What?
てめえ
Like I said, why did they cause that incident? It doesn't make any sense. They had a purpose, right? There's no way they'd do what they did without any purpose.
あのね
It was Junko Enoshima's despair.
Huh?
For Junko Enoshima, despair isn't about purpose. A set of principles, a way of life, or an instinct. Despair was what defines Junko Enoshima as Junko Enoshima.
What are you saying?
ぷぷ
I'm a stuffed plushie. Hajime is a human. It's exactly like that.
ぷぷぷ
Junko Enoshima is so full of so much despair that she's truly hopeless. Living, dying, eating, loving. For her, everything is despair.
What the hell?
With her overwhelming force of personality, Junko recruited the ultimate despairs one by one. She controlled their despair by taking advantage of their love, hate, grudges, anything really. Mikon was one of them.
The realization hits.
Oh my lord. Crap.
You know, it must be nice having such a good memory. When I got to this part, I didn't remember the Mekon part at all. And actually, it wasn't until we replayed this game and we were doing it together that I was like, oh, that's what that was about. I always thought it was completely unrelated, and we went back through it and I'm like, oh.
Junko's despair is far more dreadful than any other. That idea must have slammed right into their minds.
Boop, boop, boop.
And so the ultimate despairs who had been recruited became nothing more than Junko's limbs. All despair, whether it was for their own or anyone else's, was dedicated to Junko Enoshima.
Oops, all Junko Enoshima.
Like believers making offerings to their god. Like a mother providing food to her children. They dedicated all despair so they can escape from despair. All in Junko Enoshima's name. For example, they killed their families and friends, and even destroyed their bodies through relentless mutilation. And to hopelessly top it off, they completely believed it was something that they had to do.
There's no way something that crazy is possible.
Are they?
Do you know about the final days of the Reserve Corps students during the tragedy of Hope's Peak Academy?
Final days.
Somebody.
Junko has the power to change people's values. This is also true of famous people throughout history.
Hey, what do you mean final days? What happened to the reserve department?
Mochiro.
They fulfilled their role as disposable limbs. They believed in what they needed to do. Oh! Oh.
What was the name of that town that happened in?
You
It's
mean
like
the
some
Kool-Aid?
cult- Yeah.
Yeah. Don't know. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And
Jamestown?
so-
Is it Jamestown?
I think so. And so, the 2,357 students of the Reserve Department all committed mass suicide!
Mass suicide?
なんだと
All 2,357 students?
Boop, 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 boop.
Oops, it wasn't all of them. One person was excluded.
One person was excluded. Well, is that? Don't believe it. There's no way I can believe this. Ultimate despair, Junko Enoshima. Doesn't scare me at all. Junko Enoshima's already dead. Huh?
待っていたわ。私様の前に待っていただろう。Do I talk to...
Hey, Fuyuhiko, is it true what you said?
Actually, yeah, how do you know?
Junko Enoshima is really dead?
Huh?
What? You didn't see? There was a book called Manga for Morons Killing School Life in a Bloody Classroom. A bloody classroom? No, wait, what was that you said about the killing school life? Like the killings we were involved in. Oh, that's not Hajime. Like the killings we were involved in. They were killings that happened at Hope's Peak Academy. Oh, no, it is Hajime.
Yeah, it is.
As I recall, the mastermind took her own life because the remaining students worked together to defeat her.
まあな。
Yeah, that's what it was. The killing school life ended up failing in the end. As a result, the 6 students who survived managed to escape from the academy.
あのな。
For a manga about the killing school life, it was drawn with a lot of silly images and dumb gags. According to that, the mastermind behind the failed killing school life was Junko Enoshima. The mastermind who took her own life, which means Junko Enoshima is dead.
つーか。
Turns out that killing school life was part of that whole biggest, most awful whatever incident. Junko took away the memories of former students of Hope's Peak Academy and forced them to kill each other. former students of Hope Peak Academy, and she took away their memories. It's just like us. Apparently, the whole thing was being filmed by surveillance cameras and broadcast worldwide. No, there's a limit being a cruel asshole. Surveillance cameras were broadcasting the whole thing?
だからよ。
Students of Hope's Peak Academy are widely known as symbols of hope. By forcing people to watch these symbols of hope kill each other for the sake of survival, they're trying to fill everyone who watched the broadcast with despair all at once. That's messed up.
And we're the second season.
That messed up plan was stopped. Juko and Ashima failed. Juko lost to the students she placed in her trap, and after being overcome by the despair she created, she took her own life. Then Juko's no more. No matter how horrible she was, there's no reason to fear someone who's dead. Whether Monokuma's story is true or not doesn't matter. Juko Enoshima isn't alive anymore. Then... who is our enemy? If Junko Enoshima is already dead, are the rest of the Ultimate Despairs behind this? Are the followers of Junko carrying out her will? That's the only thing I can think of. I mean, the killings were involved in resemble that killing the school life. Well, I don't know who the hell is imitating Juko and making us go through this, but... imitation is just that. An imitation.
決まってんだろ。
The students from Hope's Peak Academy stopped the real deal. There's no way we'll lose to some fake. This is really an imitation. Are those surveillance cameras the same too?
Yep, we're season 2, buddy.
Cameras all over Jabberwock Island. Are they broadcasting to somewhere, just like that surveillance cameras during school life? Oh, 1 second.
待っていたわ。私様の前に待っていたぞ。
が現れること。
Third lighter blue.
待っていたわ。私様は待っていたのよ。
What are you watching?
Our old playthrough. Third lighter blue.
待っていたわ。私様は待
Oh,
っていたのよ。
Junko.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Man, Hajime, you totally know about that story, huh?
Yawn number 245. What? Do you have a problem with that?
Well, I really wanted you to read the manga version since I took the time to draw it.
しょうがない
Oh
な
well, I'll just raise the flag.
Flag? What do you mean raise the flag? What's gonna happen if you do that?
あわわ
One
ドキド
step
キ
at a time. I'm getting closer to clearing my character route.
Not making sense again.
さてと
Now then, I'll give you guys my all. I'll tell you everything I know, including information on the outside and the inside.
さあ
I'll raise them flags like crazy. Go on.
なんと
What a surprise! Do you want to hear about the Ultimate Despairs again?
No, I don't really need you to...
あのね
Even though the term ultimate despair refers to a group these days, it was actually a term used to describe Junko Enoshima, the original ultimate despair.
He started on his own.
As the former ultimate despair, she created a despair brimming with charm and humor and created the ultimate despair.
よほほほほ
Wait, was this just a repeat?
あれあ
Fine
れ
already, you don't have to keep explaining.
It's fine already, but I'm just getting to the good part.
Fair or not, I've already heard this from you before.
Oh, what? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, we're just done.
Oh.
Huh? It changed to a different hallway again. So sudden. What's going to make something like this happen? No, I've already decided that I'm not going to be surprised. That's right. There's no time for me to be surprised by something like this.
What? Yeah, actually.
Oh god. This looks like the music room. I feel like I can see something strange. Looks like it's some sort of monument. Why would there be a monument in the music room? Not just that. The mark engraved into the monument is a symbol of the future foundation, right? Below that symbol there's a short passage engraved. To combat the biggest, most awful, most tragic event in human history, the graduates of Hope's Peak Academy were among the many who established the future foundation. Huh? The future foundation was established by the graduates of Hope's Peak Academy? Aren't they known as world enders? This is completely different. Monokuma, he completely made it up.
You idiot.
What's the, giant, yeah. What is this? Words are floating in air. This is like a hologram, right? Floating letters are forming a sentence. Looks like a passage from an email. Regarding the report we gave you the other day, we've obtained information. A person who claims to be a survivor of Hope's Peak Academy. Upon further investigation, there are a total of 15 survivors. You may be wondering about the number of people at this time. They're survivors of Hope's Peak Academy. It's possible they may be targeted by ultimate despair. We believe we should acquire them and place them in our care as soon as possible. Though I don't believe the group can go that far without Junko Enoshima rallying them. In the worst case scenario, we must prevent a repeat of the killing school life.
You idiots! You absolute idiots!
Yeah. Well, what were they supposed to do, though? Also, if they are survivors of Hope's Peak Academy, we should expect them to be quite valuable to us. However, we're still investigating the details of their origins and haven't located them either. We will continue investigating this matter. Also, regarding a separate matter, we have received a report from the research facility on Jabberwock Island. Preparations have been completed. It seems we can proceed with the experimental phase of the Neo-World program. Survivors of Hope's Peak Academy?
You dumbasses.
15 students? Is that about us?
You, I know you say what could we have done, but like I don't know. Like, why would you believe anything about the the foundation of the world. Oh my, I don't know, you idiots!
I mean, that's fair, but Nagito was the one who fucked everyone up, really. Nagito's the one that kills Chiaki. Otherwise, like... And I guess he was actually technically trying to save Chiaki. Excluding Chiaki, who is part of the Future Foundation, there were definitely 15 of us, but... What does survivors mean? It's like they're talking from some other world. What happened outside Jabberwock Island? The biggest, most awful, most tragic event in human history is really true, and the world isn't normal anymore. Maybe. I feel like we might be better off not remembering the memories we've lost.
I don't know, dude. Like, it's just...
I guess that's all the clues in this room.
We could have avoided so much.
Well, how? Well, I mean, maybe. Possibly. Yikes.